Well, hello everyone. It's that time of the year, folks. The Post-Game Awards video recap. If you didn't see last year's video on the Game Awards, what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the categories that were at this year's Game Awards, saying my predictions, and then check out if I was right or wrong. Similar to what Anthony Fantano does with his Grim Awards videos. But anyway, we got our winners, we got our losers, we got our Bill Clintons, we got our bots. And let's get into the show. Now, before we start with the actual list, there's two awards that I want to talk about that I usually don't care about, but this year I have something to say. And those being Content Creator of the Year and Player's Choice Game of the Year. For Content Creator of the Year, that one went to Ludwig, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people, myself included, wanted Nibelian, or rather expected Nibelian to win that, because not only because he was a pretty good reporter, but also because of the stunt he pulled of pulling away from Twitter after the Elon Musk buyout, because he didn't trust him in running the platform well. And considering what happened in the first 2 weeks of the Musk ownership, with that company that lost $7 billion because of a troll account that paid the $8 for the blue check, his call ended up being absolutely correct. While for Player's Choice Game of the Year award, I'm pretty sure everybody heard of the war between Sonic fans and Genshin Impact fans for the award. While I won't say much about the whole topic, I will say that this whole mess between Genshin and Sonic fans is the reason why we shouldn't have this kind of award. Because as I've said plenty of times, you should not give the internet the power of creation and especially the power of choice. Because more often than not, shit goes down horrendously wrong. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's jump right into the first category, that being most anticipated game. And I said this literally 12 months ago. I said this a year ago, that there were two games that were going to win most anticipated game. Tears of the Kingdom, or Breath of the Wild 2, since we didn't know the name at the time, or Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And since Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out this year, it wouldn't have been anything else other than Tears of the Kingdom. And right now, the only game that I'm thinking that could fit the most anticipated game category for next year's Game Awards is the new Armored Core game, in case From decides to delay it to 2024. For Best Adaptation, which is a brand new award for this year, I said it was either going to be Cyberpunk Edge Runners or Sonic 2 the movie. And it went to neither of them because the winner was Arcane. And in my defense, this category was fucking stacked. Like, any of those nominees, except for the Uncharted movie, since that movie just sucks ass, all of those categories, all those choices could have actually won. There was no clear-cut winner. And I've chosen Sonic 2 because the movie was actually even better than the first one, and Cyberpunk Edge Runners did the impossible in digging out the original game from the 10-feet pile of goat turd that I've been since the release. But again, this category was stacked, so I guess I shouldn't be too upset that I got this one wrong. For Best Debut Indie, I said that Stray was going to win it, and I got this right on the money. Stray brought home the trophy. I will talk about Stray later on in the video, but right now, let's jump into the next category, that being Best Multiplayer. And I've said it was going to go to either Splatoon 3 or COD The Modern Warfare 2 2022, and it went to Splatoon 3. And in all honesty, I didn't hear anything bad about the Splatoon 3 multiplayer. The only complaint that I've heard was that people kept rage quitting a lot. But that's more of a player problem rather than a game problem. So yeah, Splatoon 3 winning Best Multiplayer makes perfect sense. For Best Sports and Racing Game, just like I did with Most Anticipated Game last year, I said Gran Turismo 7 was going to win it, and guess what? Gran Turismo 7 won it. Even with all the stuff that happened with Update 1.07 that I already talked about at the beginning of the play for Gran Turismo 7, yeah, it was still going to win. Even with that, it was still going to win Best Racing Game regardless, because its competition was, it was nothing to write home about. For Best Sim Strategy, I said that Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope was going to win it, and I got this one right. In all honesty, I don't particularly care about that game. I did see it because my sister had to play it because she had to review it, but personally, I have no intentions of ever playing that game. Not just because of the whole of the known messes inside of Ubisoft, but also because I just don't care about that game at all. Now for best family game, and this actually hurt a little bit, I said it was either going to go to Splatoon 3 or LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, and it went to neither because Kirby won. And actually, I almost wrote Kirby in the predictions, but I decided to stick with LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga because I thought that Kirby wasn't, it wouldn't have had much of a presence. I guess I was wrong on that one. For best fighting game, and this one actually hurt the most, I said that King of Fighters 15 was going to win it, and instead Multiverses won it. And I have a reason why I thought that KOF 15 was going to win it, and that is because I didn't hear anything about Multiverses, even when new characters were being released. Well, for KOF, I actually heard a lot of stuff. Team Orochi, Team Samurai, the character from Samurai Showdown, the introduction of Shingo and Kim, and other characters. What was the other game that they released? The other King of Fighters 98 it was? The game that they had, the old KOF game, they had the rollback netcode? I mean, I heard a lot of stuff for KOF 15, but for Multiverses I heard absolutely nothing. And I got my ass kicked by a company that right now is way too busy trying to find new ways to embarrass themselves. For best RPG, and this is just unfair, I said that it was going to go to Elden Ring, and surprising nobody on the planet, it went to Elden Ring. This is just fucking unfair. Like, my god. This was the only award that I expected Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to win hands down. But, unfortunately, Elden Ring counts as an RPG, and yeah, there was absolutely... If between Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and Elden Ring, there was no way... there was no question on who was going to win it. But still... that really fucking sucks. Now for Best Action Adventure, I said that God of War Ragnarok was going to win it, and I got this one right. God of War Ragnarok won the category. I'll be honest here, when I played Ragnarok for the first hours, I did not like the gameplay, as it felt too stiff and not as responsive as 2018 was. But then, as time went on, I got used to it, and I can confidently say that Ragnarok's gameplay is miles better than the gameplay of 2018. And Dropner has to be the highlight of the gameplay, because that weapon was fucking amazing. I absolutely loved that weapon. Not that the Leviathan and the Blades of Chaos were any bad, but I had a lot more fun with the Dropner than I had with the Leviathan or the Blades of Chaos. The Dropner was easily the best addition of the of the whole game, other than Atreus being playable. Atreus being playable is Atreus being playable is the best thing that they added in Ragnarok, and the Dropner is the second best one. Let's just say that. Yeah, let's just say that. For best action game, I said that it was going to go to Bayonetta 3, and it went to Bayonetta 3. And I'm pretty sure you don't need me to say that this is easily the biggest middle finger that Platinum could have ever given to Helena Taylor, the original voice actress of Bayonetta, and her PR war. However, it's also true that Platinum doesn't exactly go unscathed from the whole situation. And Kamiya having the reaction that he did, blocking people left and center to the point that even Twitter actually suspended his account, to even referring people who did not speak Japanese as insects. Yeah, that was not the proper reaction in that moment, because it actually made you feel like you were the bad guy. But he got the last laugh with his award, so water under a bridge, I guess? Now, for best VR and AR game, I honestly didn't care much about this category. It's this was a crapshoot category where anyone could have won, and I wouldn't have cared. For this one, I wrote that Among Us VR was going to win it, but ended up going to Mossbook 2. But as I've said, I'm not too upset about it, so let's continue. Innovation Accessibility is another award that I particularly did not care about. I wrote that The Last of Us Part 1 was going to win it, but the award went to Ragnarok instead. For Best Community Support, I said that either No Man's Sky or Final Fantasy XIV were going to win it, and Final Fantasy XIV brought the trophy home. Considering everything that happened last year, and I still hear the meme of the free 60 hours of Final Fantasy XIV, this game is definitely not going away for a pretty good while. For Best Mobile Game, I said that Genshin Impact was going to win it, so imagine my surprise when it was announced that Marvel's Snap won the award instead. In all honesty, I prepared an entire spiel on how I believe that next year Genshin Impact is going to have a pretty big rival. That rival being Nikki of Victory, even though I'm pretty sure that game is never going to get mentioned by the Game Awards because it's way too fanservice-y. But with Marvel Snap winning, yeah, that thing goes completely out of the window. So let's just continue. For Best Indie Game, I said it was either going to go to Stray or Sifu, and Stray got the award. I saw Maximilian Dude's video on his Game Awards predictions, and he said that this award was going to be a crapshoot between these two because they are effectively the closest thing indie games get to the to AAA titles. They are still nowhere near AAA. Their budgets are nowhere near the amount of the AAA titles, but they are definitely more than usual indie games. It helps the fact that Annapurna Interactive is a pretty big company. They even have a film division, for Christ's sake. And I honestly agree with him, because Stray and Sifu definitely aren't games that were made by a ragtag group of people. Like, for example, Until a Goose Game that was made by, I think it was 3 people? It was either 3 or 4 people, I don't remember. Again, they had pretty sizable teams, nowhere near the hundreds of people from AAA titles, but sizable enough to actually be elevated from the classical indie. For Best Ongoing Game, I said that it was either going to go to Genshin Impact or Fortnite, and it went to neither because Final Fantasy XIV won instead. And I've completely run out of things to say about Final Fantasy XIV, so let's just jump into the next category. Games for Impact was another crapshoot award that I really didn't care about. I wrote Endling Extinction is Forever was going to win it, also because it was the only game that I actually saw of the nominees, but it went to As Dusk Falls. For Best Performance, I said that either Ashley Birch as Aloy for Horizon Forbidden West or Christopher Judge as Kratos for God of War Ragnarok were going to win it, and the award went to Christopher Judge. And I have a couple of things to say about this. First off, I thought that this was the only realistic award that Horizon could actually get. 2, I genuinely liked the Christopher Judge speech, but holy fuck, that was long. I'm pretty sure nobody at the TGA expected it to be that long, and I'm pretty sure not even Judge himself actually expected it to be that long. The part that struck me the most of his speech was him saying he almost didn't return as Kratos for God of War Ragnarok because Corey Balrog wasn't going to direct it. And we can only be glad he still decided to give Eric Williams a shot, because I don't think any one of us can think Kratos without Christopher Judge. For Best Art Design, and this is just weird, I said that either Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022 or Gran Turismo 7 were going to win it, but Ragnarok won it instead. And it's been a while, I'll admit, it's been a while since I played God of War 2018, but as far as I remember, there isn't that many changes from 2018 to this one, so I really don't understand how the fuck did Ragnarok win Best Audio Design, because, yeah, I have absolutely no idea. For Best Score in Music, and this is an award that definitely surprised me the most, I said either Elden Ring or Metal Hellsinger were going to win it, but it went to Ragnarok instead. Now, you cannot blame me of putting Metal Hellsinger as the best soundtrack, because Doom 2016 and Eternal proved that metal could actually work as a soundtrack. Not to mention that soundtrack had fucking Serj Tankian, so yeah, that thing had a lot of pulling power. However, I rewatched the live performance of Blood Upon the Snow from Ragnarok, and oh my god, that was phenomenal. I already loved that a lot when it happened, and re-listening to it again, yeah, that song was amazing. I fully understand why Ragnarok got that award. That song alone is fantastic. For best art direction, I wrote either Elden Ring or Scorn were going to win it, and the award went to Elden Ring. However, if I had to choose between the two, I would have picked Scorn, because I'm pretty sure everybody remembers that launch trailer and just how fucking gross it was. I still remember when I saw it for the first time and went, what the fuck is happening? What is this? But they went to Elden Ring because I hate all Souls-like games, all Soulsborne games, but if there's one thing that I have to give credit to From for is that they managed to craft some pretty original worlds, so yeah, chapeau on that one. For best narrative, I said God of War Ragnarok was going to win it, and thank the Lord, God of War Ragnarok won it. When the nominations came out, a friend of mine posted on a Discord server a video explaining why Elden Ring should win best narrative. I said, half joking, half being serious, watching hour-long videos on YouTube and reading on wikis for shit makes for great narrative. And I actually said to myself that if Elden Ring won best narrative, then I would stop playing normal games and stick with racing games, because if reading wikis is good narrative, then basically narrative is dead. But fortunately that didn't happen, so yeah, let's continue. For best game direction, I wrote Elden Ring was going to win it, and Elden Ring did in fact win it. And I almost wrote Ragnarok here. I almost wrote Ragnarok for best game direction, but then I decided to stick with Elden Ring because everybody knows how From works, From does stuff, so yeah, that would have been, it would have been a miracle if anything else other than Elden Ring would have won this. And as for overall game of the year, unlike the Super Surprise of It Takes Two last year, this one was extremely predictable. I said that Elden Ring was going to win it, and Elden Ring brought the ultimate trophy home. And then the kid that mentioned Bill Clinton happened. I read a tweet, actually, about that. I didn't realize until the show was already over, because after Elden Ring had been announced as the game of the year, I completely checked out. I really couldn't care less of what they were going to say. I just wanted the thing to end. I realized what the fuck happened with that kid only after the show had been done and I was reading reactions on a Discord server. And I read a tweet that said in like 20 minutes that kid went from mentioning Bill Clinton on stage to being arrested to finding out that he's alright, a pretty big anti-Semite, and he was featured on InfoWars. You really could have ended this thing in a more memeable way. And I'm pretty sure that Jeff Keighley completely lost his shit after the show was done and dusted because of the kid and what happened with the bots for the player's choice. And that's all the awards for this year. I was going to talk a little bit more, but since I'm pretty sure this video is going to be pretty long, I decided to cut things here. I'm probably going to write it in the description, but for this video, we're done. So, this has been it for this video. If you liked it, give it a like. And if you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe and click on the notification bell so you get it when the next video drops. I have nothing else to say other than see you next video, everybody. This is Alpha, signing out.